that? Storm?
That's not a storm. Allison! Jump onto something! Are you there?
The story of Greenland 2, migration unfolds against a world that has already been reshaped by unimaginable disaster. The sequel picks up years after the devastating comet strike that shattered Earth and forced humanity to cling to whatever shelter and hope it could find. The Garrett family, who survived the initial impact and found refuge in a massive bunker in Greenland, now face a new and brutal chapter of survival as the fragile sanctuary they've known begins to crumble. It's a tale not just of worldwide catastrophe and ruin, but of what it truly means to push forward when every step into the unknown feels like a gamble with life and death. Leading the cast again is Gerard Butler, returning as John Garrity, a man whose fierce determination has kept his family alive against all odds. Alongside him is Morena Baccarin as Allison Garrity, John's unwavering partner in this treacherous journey, and Ramon Griffin Davis as their son Nathan, whose own vulnerabilities and strength shape the emotional core of the film. New characters played by Amber Rose Rava, Sophie Thompson, and others bring fresh perspectives and stakes to the desperate trek across a fractured world, expanding the narrative beyond one family's struggle into a larger mosaic of survivors trying to hold on to hope. The world the movie presents is one where civilization has been stripped down to its survival instincts. Enormous environmental dangers still loom: massive storms, unpredictable radiation, violent landscapes, and remnants of society that have become as hostile as the weather itself. The journey that the Garritys undertake is not a simple search for safety. It's a grueling odyssey across a shattered Europe where every new horizon brings fresh peril. It's a backdrop that amplifies not just suspense and action, but the emotional weight each decision carries when a misstep could mean the loss of the ones you love. The plot embraces this dire setting with a pace that balances thrilling set pieces with quieter moments of humanity. Action is frequent and intense, from desperate chases through ruined cities to tense standoffs with other survivors who may or may not be friend or foe. These sequences underscore the unpredictability of the New World Order, where law and civilization have collapsed and survival sometimes depends on instincts rather than morals. At the same time, the emotional beats, the conversations, the fears, the fragile bonds ground the film in a very human heart, making the stakes feel personal no matter how vast the disaster. One of the central threads running through the narrative is the idea of migration itself. The film uses this theme not just as a plot mechanic, but as a metaphor for transformation and endurance. The Garrity family's movement from the safety of their bunker into the unforgiving open world reflects a broader journey of acceptance and adaptability. They are forced to confront what they thought they knew about survival, about each other, and about the future. With every mile they travel, the stakes are not just survival, but the hope that somewhere beyond the devastation, a new life, a real home, might await. As the story unfolds, critics and audiences alike have had varied reactions to this continuation of the story. Some have praised the film for its relentless action and the way it builds a richly textured post-apocalyptic world, while others feel that its narrative doesn't quite recapture the urgency or coherence of the original. Reviews point out that Greenland 2, Migration at times feels more like a series of action set pieces than a cohesive journey, suggesting that while the thrills are present, the emotional or narrative push sometimes fails to match the strength of its predecessor. Box office performance so far has been a major talking point as well. Early reports show that the film opened with a modest take in its domestic debut, indicating that while there was anticipation for the sequel, it faces an uphill climb to match strong expectations. The movie's financial performance highlights a broader conversation about sequels in the disaster genre, where follow-ups often struggle to capture the public's imagination in the same way the original did. This has sparked discussions among fans and industry watchers about what audiences want from these high-stakes thrillers and how franchises can evolve after a standout first installment. Despite the mixed responses, there's widespread acknowledgement of the ambition behind the project. The filmmakers return to key elements that made the first film compelling: human resilience, the fragility of society, the instinctive drive to protect family, and amplified them against a world that feels even more unforgiving and unpredictable. The visual depiction of a world ravaged by disaster, with landscapes warped by environmental collapse and human conflict alike, serves as both a spectacle and a stark reminder of how delicate civilization can be when everything familiar is stripped away. Behind the scenes, the journey of Greenland 2, migration from announcement to release, was itself a long and evolving process. Initially conceptualized years ago and facing delays, the project went through a period of uncertainty before production finally commenced and wrapped filming. These developments only added to the anticipation among fans of the original, who have been waiting to see how this continuation of the story would unfold. Another important aspect of the film's life cycle is the move beyond theaters into home entertainment. After its theatrical window, the movie is expected to arrive on digital rental and purchase platforms within a few weeks, followed by streaming options later in the year. This release strategy reflects how modern film distribution works in tandem with traditional box office runs, giving the film multiple avenues to find its audience over time. The essence of Greenland 2, Migration, beyond reviews and numbers, lies in its portrayal of endurance in the face of overwhelming odds. At its heart, it's not just another disaster movie. It's a story about people who refuse to give up, even when every sign points to despair. The Garrity family's path is littered with loss, uncertainty, and harrowing danger, yet they press on, driven by something more powerful than fear, a hope that somewhere beyond the ruin, life still holds meaning and possibility. Ultimately, the legacy of this chapter in the franchise will be shaped not just by box office tallies or critic scores, but by how its story resonates with viewers who see reflections of their own struggles and hopes in the character's journey. It's a reminder that in the face of catastrophe, what defines us is not only how we survive, but why we keep going even when the path ahead seems impossible.